Hi there, welcome to Student Spotlight, and today we're speaking to Ellen Curran. Hi, Ellen.
Hiya.
You are taking the Bachelor of Arts degree in Nua-Ghaeilge and Music as per your backdrop there, and you're in second year. But will you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you studied in school?
So I'm from Banlaslow in County Galway. So that would be more towards the east side of the county. So every time I tell people I'm from Galway, they're like, "Oh, the city." I'm like, "No, it's not near the city at all." But no, it's not too far from here actually. It's only about an hour and a half drive from Maynooth. So it was handy enough for me now going home now at the weekends. But in secondary school, so for the leaving, my chosen subjects were art, music, chemistry, and French. Yeah.
And so Irish, obviously you're doing it at a higher level in school to be able
Of
to
course,
study it
yeah.
in Maynooth now. And so the subjects that you continued with then when you came to Maynooth were Irish and music. And then what were your
Yeah.
other subjects?
So I did a double music and then of course Irish, and I studied critical skills as well as my final subject. So I thought that was actually really helpful for myself because I knew that I wanted to kind of focus on Irish and music, and those were my kind of where my interests lay. But I was like, critical skills was always talked about as like such a great option for kind of like that transition into college and kind of understanding what the work is about and what they're looking for from you. So I thought it was a great choice, and I'm very happy that I did do it because like talking to people in classes, you don't realize that they people who don't do critical skills, they don't know exactly what the lecturers are talking about and what they're looking for. So for me it was very helpful definitely to kind of get a grasp on that.
Yeah, and just to give a quick overview of what critical skills is, it's, as you say, it's a first year subject, it's optional, and it's 15 credits, and it's available in most degrees, not all, but so for first year students to take to, I guess, help to make that transition a bit more smooth from secondary school. Because how do you find the difference in terms of learning from secondary school compared to learning and indeed assessment from secondary school compared to university?
It's completely different, and I know that everyone says this, but it really is like it is completely up to yourself. No one is going to be like chasing you to do the work, and then all of a sudden your exam or your assignment comes up and you're like, oh god, wait, what work have I been doing all year long for it? But critical skills, they teach you those steps. I thought for me anyways, it was a great to kind of like lay out for you exactly how different it is, because you don't realize the amount of support that teachers give you in secondary school until you come to college. And because there's so many of you, in the same course, it's just impossible to kind of to cater to every single person like that. So something like critical skills is great to kind of to judge that and be able to see what they're looking for really.
Back in so and you're looking at your CAO application and you're looking to the west, and of course you have university
Yes.
there beside you in Galway, and there's any number of options really open to you there based on where you're from. So you chose Maynooth. So what is it about Maynooth that sold it for you?
I have to say it was the music course because I knew going into I didn't decide what I wanted to do. I had no idea up until maybe Christmas of leaving. And then someone said to me, "Oh, would you ever think of like Irish? Because like you've always like you've done well with that." And I was like, oh God, wait, I'd never thought of it before. And so then I was like, oh, Irish, that sounds great. And then what would I do with it? I grew up with kind of music throughout my whole life. So that was kind of an easy choice then, because people keep telling you like, oh, study things that you like, things that you enjoy. And they're completely right because I love the course that I'm in at the minute. It suits me perfectly. And I'm so happy with my decision to come to Maynooth because I came to the open day here and I went to the talks for Irish and for music. And you could tell that what they were talking about, they talked about the different assessments that would be made, the different options of like modules that you could study at different things. But I also went to the same in Galway because that was my other option. And I did the same talks in Galway as well. Now, the Irish in Galway did sound lovely. Like between Irish in Maynooth here and down in Galway, it was more or less the same. I didn't really mind where I was going for that. But I went to the music talk, and it just, what they were talking about, the different practical elements and what you would be studying, it didn't kind of click for me personally, anyways. And then when I came to Maynooth here and I heard the talk here, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want to study and what I want to focus on, because you can, even though it says the same thing on paper, both is music degree, they're very different courses. So definitely by kind of like researching and like looking online as well, like you can see exactly like how you're going to be assessed in everything. So those are kind of great tools as well for kind of figuring out what you want to do and what's going to suit you really. So here in Maynooth, this was the best course for me anyways, and I'm so happy with it.
That option to study music in the arts degree is obviously there. And there's also the Bachelor of Music degree. Did you consider that as opposed to the Bachelor of Arts degree?
Um, I did briefly, but I think for me, anyways, I liked having the option of studying two very different subjects, um, and not focusing just on music because I love music so much, and I love Irish so much. But I feel like if I was to focus and just study one, I might like lose that joy that I have for it. So kind of by splitting my attention between the two, I'm kind of you're doing very different things. You're doing like Irish tutorials in the morning and then you're moving on and then you're doing music practicals that evening and you're splitting it up and it's great kind of variety and I do love that because I love both subjects equally.
So there, when you talk about your day basically, and indeed your week, could you give us a little overview of what is your average week like in terms of, your lectures and tutorials, and indeed the kind of assessments that you have to do or prepare for?
Yeah. So with definitely Irish anyways, it's very hands-on the whole year round, continuous assessment the full way through. So you kind of have to be ready for that. I know with other subjects and different other degrees, you might get along by like missing a few lectures here and there, but and everything is like an exam at the end. But that's not the way for a language. Definitely here in Maynooth, they kind of focus on building it throughout your whole year that you study it, which I completely agree with. It's the best way to kind of develop it, a language anyways. So you're kind of you are for me anyways, I'm working the full way throughout the year. So every week is can be very busy, but it's definitely very enjoyable. For me now, the way that my lectures fall is that my Mondays are quite clear for the minute. Thankfully, it's very nice. So I can come actually up on a Monday morning as opposed to a Sunday evening, giving me a bit of a longer weekend at home. But then it's like full into it once I'm up here. But it's great. I do love it.
You lived on campus for your first year, I think.
Yes, I did. Yeah, no, it was. I was on campus last year, and I was in an apartment full of girls. We had a great time. Yeah, no, it was brilliant, and it was so handy to be on campus. Oh my god, you could literally leave 5 minutes before your lecture, and you'd still make it with plenty of time to spare. It was great, like a great resource, especially when you're like living away from home for the first time. Just having that security of like, if anything breaks, you can just easily ring the campus and just be like, listen, this has happened, and they'll send someone out and they'll get it fixed. And like having that community of like having your apartment or like the apartments next door and everything, it's great to be surrounded by people the whole time.
So did you find then when you came in the first year and you're settling in, obviously living on campus would have been a big advantage from the point of view of meeting people and making friends. Were there many others from your locality that came to Maynooth, or did you find yourself sort of starting out as a solo voyager, so to speak?
I was a bit lucky in my position because there was four of us from my school who came up to Maynooth. Now I know this year only one girl from my school came, so I made sure to kind of reach out and make sure that she was like okay and settling on all right. But for me, we were all actually living on campus in different parts, but we were all kind of connected. We were all doing different degrees now, so our schedules were completely different. But it was lovely to know that you knew someone who was around, even if you weren't seeing them even every week, like you knew you could always ring them up and just say, listen, whatever, do you want to meet for coffee or this has happened? It's great to know that there are other people around, even if you're not coming in contact with them. And for me, anyways, it was great to know that they were there, but I wasn't with them every day because it did force me to kind of get out of my comfort zone and make new friends and make the effort to kind of meet new people and go to different things.
Go and tell us, what does that look like in terms of getting out there and meeting people? Is it joining clubs and societies, or how does that work?
It's literally turning around to the person sitting beside you in the lecture and going, what the hell is this? It's those little things. And also, like, I remember one of my best friends now, I met her in critical skills. She turned around to me and the girl sitting beside me and she was like, the clubs and societies fair is on. Let's go, all of us. And mind you, I didn't even know this girl's name, But she dragged us along and we've been great friends ever since. You know, it's kind of just reaching out and making those connections because everyone is in the same boat, you know? Like everyone is looking to make friends, looking to meet people. So you just have to reach out and be that brave person who's like, what's your name? You know?
And orientation is good, I think, isn't it? It's well organized from the point of view of the different components to it, and it's an ongoing thing as
Mm.
well for students throughout the year. So there should be supports there. Are there other supports in the university that that you don't necessarily use yourself, but that are available to students that, say in terms of writing those essays or in language, or have you come across any of those university supports?
I've definitely heard all about them. I know for there is a math support center in the library. I know about that, and I know there are different essay supports for writing and different things like that. At the minute, I'm currently doing Droichead, which is kind of a help for first year students studying Irish. So helping them with grammar and things like that. So it's kind of like smaller little groups where you can just ask questions away. And because I'm only like a year ahead of everyone else, like they feel a lot more comfortable asking questions that might they might feel are stupid questions, but like no questions are stupid. So it's nice to be able to kind of help people and it also forces me to know what I'm talking about, you know? It's great to just be able to kind of offer a few of those supports.
As you move through your degree and you're in second year now, are you finding that there's more option for you to choose what you'd like to study as opposed to perhaps everybody, from a starting position in first year, you have certain modules that are prescribed or required. Is there now more in terms of options?
Oh, absolutely. In first year there was for me anyways, there was no choice with what I kind of got to study like in the specific degree. Like so I could choose my subjects and that was about it. So I had no choice with like studying Irish grammar or studying what literature in Irish or the different modules that I did with music. But this year I have so much more choice. It's fantastic, I have to say. For music, I'm nearly completely doing practical work at the minute. I have no lectures this semester and it is brilliant. I love it so much because that's for me anyways, that's what music is all about. It's all about the playing it for me and kind of listening and everything. So for me, I wouldn't be drawn to the kind of the essay side of it. So thankfully, I don't have to go to any lectures about that or do any assignments. So I definitely love that you get that choice. And you can kind of build it like last semester. I was a lot more busy with my lectures, but it kind of works out well with my performance part because now I get to spend more time being able to practice now. And that's just the way that the credits fell with the modules that I picked because that's what I was interested in.
Great, and that gives you the bandwidth then. And do you think will you take in a year after second year, go on Erasmus or study abroad? I know you're not studying a foreign language, but is that something you've thought about?
I did think about it briefly, and I know a few people who have studied abroad with music, but I think just for myself and my own development with the Irish language, I think I'd just prefer to stay and kind of continue at that. This summer, I thankfully have gotten a job working in the Gaeltacht, so I think that will really improve my Irish. I was working there for a little bit last summer as well, and the improvement is it's crazy. So for me, that's nearly my year out abroad in a
Yes,
different
of
country,
course.
going over the summer. Yeah.
The immersion is necessary, isn't it? It's so
Oh, absolutely.
important.
You don't realize the benefits until like you come home afterwards and you're like, oh my God, I'm so much more confident in what I'm talking about. Like you don't realize what you're soaking up. It's incredible.
After graduation, then, I mean, I know we're looking a little bit further into the distance, but did you have a kind of a master plan, or are you just going to see how it falls?
I'm not too sure for the minute. Outside of college, I'm currently doing a music teaching course, so I hope to be able to teach the violin, which is my instrument. So that'll be outside of college and will hopefully be like just like a side thing that I'm able to do. But after college, I'm thinking of maybe doing something with Irish. So I'll probably look. Galway for me has a few options that look interesting, and then of course there's the course here that is the masters in Irish as well. So that as well, I'm looking at a few different places, but nothing's decided yet, anyways.
We'll give you that. You have plenty of time. Yes, indeed. And of course, teaching might well be on the horizon. You never know how these things might go.
Yeah.
Um, I know you came in as an entrance scholar to the university, which means that you
Yes.
did very well in your leaving cert. and you chose the arts degree. And I think some people think because a degree maybe has lower points that there's
Mm.
less to it perhaps, which is obviously not the case. But how do you find the arts degree in terms of what you expected versus indeed what the reality is for you?
Uh, Definitely coming like as an entrance scholarship, I had no idea that the entrance scholarship existed, to be honest, when I first came in. And then I got the email being like, oh, you've qualified for this and this. And I only got in by about 2 points. So I was just on the cusp. But I was always set on the arts because I always wanted to study Irish and music. Those were the two things that I was interested in. Um, but yeah, the workload, it's definitely busy. But I think it's busy with everyone, you know? But in first year, it was a lot more laid back. I thought they gave you that space to kind of adjust, which I was really thankful for. This year now in second year, it is quite a bit more busy, but I do enjoy it. I love what I'm studying. It is really interesting to me, and it's definitely challenging at times, but I absolutely love it.
And that's the key, isn't it? You said that you do
Yeah.
love your subjects and you do love what you're studying, so that clearly that will help a lot. And just finally then to wrap up in terms of the CAO and
Mm.
for anyone who's now considering their CAO application, I'm wondering if you have any advice, any words of advice, anything you'd like to pass on?
If you can, I know it's impossible, but if you can, don't stress. You know, it comes and goes, and there's so many different back doors and things. I like met a girl the other day who was telling me how she did a PCL and then came into Maynooth and then did this and that. And Maynooth apparently is, I wouldn't know myself, but I've heard that it's really like friendly to people who are coming through PCL routes and different things like that. Um, but like the leaving cert isn't the be all and end all.
Yeah,
It,
indeed.
you know,
There are lots of different routes, like the PLC courses, the QQI courses.
mm,
We have mature students, yeah. People come in with all
yeah,
kinds of qualifications and all are assessed separately, of course, as well. So you're not all um, in the same pot, so to speak. But yeah, so don't stress. Sometimes easier said than done.
I
Um,
know.
Thanks very much, Alan. Lovely to talk to you today.
Of course.